You ever scroll through Instagram and wonder, how in the world is everyone your age suddenly living like rappers? New cars, designer bags, weekend trips to Vegas, like, when did the whole world get rich overnight? Here's the part nobody wants to admit. Most of it's fake. Yup, rented, financed, and filtered. The cars, the vacations, the drip, it's all smoke and mirrors backed by credit cards, stress, and a whole lot of pretending. But you're not crazy, and you're not alone. In this video, we're peeling back the mask on the illusion of wealth. You'll see exactly why everyone looks rich but is actually broke, and more importantly, how to avoid the traps and build the kind of wealth that doesn't need an audience. Let's get into it. Welcome to Blue Chip Mindset, the winning mindset for success. If you enjoyed the video or learned something new, please give it a like. In today's world, it's not about being successful, it's about looking like you are. That's how the game's now played. Scroll through your feed and it's rooftop parties in Miami, Mercedes pulling up to exclusive clubs, and front row concert pics everywhere you look. But behind the scenes, half of them are financing that lifestyle with credit cards and crossing their fingers every time they check their bank account. Here's where it gets dangerous. Lifestyle inflation. Someone gets a raise and instead of stacking the difference, they upgrade everything. The meal prep plan turns into nightly dinners out. Casual clothes get swapped for high-end brands. The Honda Civic gets swapped for a new Range Rover, leased at 9% APR. These upgrades don't come from savings, they come from swipes. So while their profile shows luxury vacations and retail therapy, their bank account's praying for payday. Americans now owe over $1 trillion in credit card debt. That's not by accident. That's by design, because the system thrives when people spend everything to appear as though they've made it, even if they're drowning behind the scenes. So when someone's flexing a Rolex watch or rolling up in a G-Wagon, don't assume they're swimming in money. Real wealth is quiet. It doesn't need a logo to prove a point, and here's the engine powering that illusion. Debt. Most people don't realize that credit cards and buy now, pay later apps aren't financial tools. They're psychological weapons. Take the iPhone 16. You put it on a card, pay the minimum, and boom. What should have cost $1,200 ends up bleeding you for $2,000 over time. Consumer debt, Afterpay, Klarna, credit cards, makes it feel easy. Break up the payments, spread it out, and tell yourself you'll catch up later. But small payments pile up. Before long, you're juggling bills instead of building wealth. Experience says the average U.S. household carries over $8,000 in credit card debt. That's not spending. That's renting a past you can't afford to let go of. Debt acts like an invisible leash. Every swipe pulls you deeper into a lifestyle that owns you, and the deeper you go, the harder it is to climb out. And just when you think you can breathe, social media pours gas on the fire. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok have turned the fake rich phenomenon into an epidemic. Every scroll floods you with a highlight reel of people spending money they don't have, staging photos with rented cars and borrowed designer outfits to project a lavish lifestyle they can't sustain, often trapping them in debt and fueling endless comparison. And it works. You see that constant drip of flex content and start thinking, if they can do it, why can't I? That's not a coincidence, that's psychology, specifically social comparison. A study from the University of Michigan found that those who use social media heavily are more likely to experience financial stress and make impulsive purchases. You're comparing your reality to someone else's highlight reel, and it messes with your judgment. What makes it worse? Many of these posts include a link. Buy now, pay later, no interest. It's way too easy. 1 minute, you're watching some guy unbox a $2,500 designer watch or flex a limited edition sneaker drop, and the next, you're punching in your card as if you can afford it when, in reality, you can't. But that watch? It's financed. Those shoes? Thrown on a credit card. That smile? Might be hiding maxed out debt and sleepless nights. What looks like luxury is often just a glossy distraction from financial chaos. And if you're not careful, lifestyle inflation will creep in and quietly sabotage your entire financial future. Let's say you finally land that promotion or get a big raise. Instead of saving the extra income, you start spending it. Your modest apartment becomes a high-rise rental. Your 2.5-year-old phone gets replaced with the latest iPhone. You trade takeout twice a week for dinner at your favorite restaurants every other night. Before long, your upgraded income is completely swallowed by your upgraded expenses. It's a treadmill, one that speeds up every time your paycheck does. You feel like you're making progress, but your net worth is standing still. That's how high earners stay broke. It's not that they don't make enough. They just spend like they're already rich. Real wealth happens when your income goes up, but your lifestyle doesn't have to. That gap, that's where the money gets made. Here's a crazy fact. As of 2024, almost half of people making over $100,000 a year are still living paycheck to paycheck. So what's holding everyone back? A big part of it is that most of us never really learned how money works. Schools skip it, parents avoid it, and when the paychecks start rolling in, we're left guessing. Without basic financial literacy, people confuse rich-looking with financially secure. They think a new car is an investment, or that savings are for later when they're making more. The National Financial Educators Council found that 60% of Americans can't pass a basic financial literacy test. That's not a small gap. That's a nationwide setup. If you don't understand compound interest, you'll ignore investing. If you can't budget, you'll overspend. If you don't know the difference between assets and liabilities, you'll keep buying things that drain you. And what happens when the money gets tight? Most people panic and double down on appearances instead of fixing the foundation. But here's the good news. You don't need a finance degree to win. Learn a few simple principles. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference, and avoid high-interest debt. And you're already ahead of 90% of people flexing on social media. Here's the real villain behind the curtain. Instant gratification. We're conditioned for it. 2-day shipping. One-click purchases. Tap to pay everything. It's no wonder financial patience feels like punishment. Buy now, pay later apps like Affirm and Afterpay exist because we can't wait. You want it now, you get it now, and future you can figure it out later. But that little dopamine rush from buying something new, it fades fast, and all you're left with is another bill. We've built a culture that glorifies spending and mocks saving. Ads scream, "You deserve it." Friends hype you up when you blow money on something flashy, but nobody cheers when you invest in index funds or max out your Roth IRA. For example, the most popular videos on YouTube aren't about someone quietly investing in their 401k. They're about a spectacle. Channels like Whistlin' Diesel are wrecking $400,000 supercars just for clicks, or Mr. Beast handing out Lambos and stacks of cash like it's Monopoly money. They're not going broke doing it. They're making millions off the show. But the problem is, the people watching, they see the flash, not the business behind it. And that illusion feeds a mindset where reckless spending looks like the goal, when in reality it's the fastest way to stay stuck. Because here's the truth. One mindset builds freedom. The other builds a trap. And here's the part nobody talks about. The emotional cost of trying to look rich all the time. Living a fake lifestyle isn't just financially exhausting, it's mentally draining too. People feel like they're living a double life, projecting success while silently worrying about how to make rent. It wrecks relationships too. Financial stress is a top reason couples argue or break up. And the shame around money problems? That keeps people isolated. The perfect life online is often hiding a mess offline. The sooner you stop pretending, the sooner you get free. So, how do you tell the difference between real wealth and the rented version? Here's a clue. Real wealth doesn't try so hard to convince you it exists. Truly wealthy people drive cars they can afford, live below their means, and let their money do the talking, quietly. In fact, according to The Millionaire Next Door, a New York Times bestseller that studied real millionaires across America, most of them drive Toyotas, Hondas, and Fords. Not because they can't afford more, but because they don't feel the need to flex. Meanwhile, fake rich behavior looks loud. New car, no garage. First-class flight, no savings. Constant vacations, zero investments. Ask yourself, if someone never talks about building, saving, or investing, but always has something new to show off, what are they really flexing? Probably debt. Bottom line, looking rich is easy. Anyone can lease a luxury car, flash some designer gear, and rack up a few likes. But being rich? That takes discipline, strategy, and patience. It's not sexy, but it's secure. So don't fall for the highlight reels. Build something real, because the real flex isn't looking rich, it's being free. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe.